Hi, I'm Andy and welcome to my channel about crypto. In today's video I want to talk about a particularly interesting project, which is Wonderland, or sometimes called Time Wonderland. So this is the website of this project, and you can find it at wonderland.money. And when you enter the app, you will see the numbers that essentially make people wonder, well, what is it all about, and is it even a legit project? And in particular this figure here, APY, so your annual percentage of, well, at the moment just over 83,000, which would give you roughly 830 times gain on whatever amount you put into it. So how is it possible that something can give you such return? Well, can it give you such return? Is it a scam? Is it a Ponzi? Well, what this project is all about. Also, if we look at the price of Time token, currently it's trading around $4,300. But if we look at its all-time high, it's a relatively new project. It's been out for about 2 or 3 months, since early September. Well, the all-time high was just above $10,000, and that was only about a month ago. So the price went up from, I think, around $500 to over $10,000 at some point, and it's currently down to $4,000. So we have some crazy numbers going on here. So what actually is this project about? How do you make money with it, or how likely it is that you will lose all your money? So the idea behind the project is that you bond your AVAX, Avalanche tokens, to purchase Wonderland Time token, and then you stake this Time token, and in return you receive memories or MEMO token, which you can then exchange back to Time. And then of course you can sell the Time token and get ETH or whatever you want. So the process is that you buy AVAX on Coinbase or any other main exchange. You can then transfer AVAX to your MetaMask as long as you set up Avalanche network on it, which I will talk about in a minute. Then you go to Avalanche exchange such as Trader Joe to exchange your AVAX for Time. And then you stake your Time token on wonderland.money website. In return, you keep getting MEMO tokens, and then you can change those tokens back to Time, and then of course you can sell Time for other crypto. What I definitely like about this project is the fact that it's on Avalanche network, so the fees are very, very low. You don't have to worry about high gas fees, which are often an issue with projects on Ethereum network, and which often make small investments impractical because your gas fees may be often as much as your investment is. And with projects like this, because they do have certainly high degree of risk attached to them, of course not everyone will be comfortable with putting thousands and thousands of dollars. So being able to do it on AVAX, so being able to do it on the Avalanche network with, I think, fees in total were maybe a couple of dollars tops, is of course a huge benefit, because even with a very small investment you can still get into it. I'll make another video later this week in which I will explain the whole process step by step, so if you're interested in it but you're not entirely sure how to do it yourself, please check out my channel probably on Friday or Saturday when I will upload the next video. If you would like to give it a shot on your own, check out this website, which is support.avax.network, and then you can find their information on how to set up MetaMask on Avalanche. So basically the main thing you will need are those details here, which are the details of the Avalanche network. And you have to make sure that you set it up as C-chain. And then once you set up Avalanche on your MetaMask, you can just simply transfer AVAX tokens straight from centralized exchange to your MetaMask, and you don't have to bridge it between different networks, which is really convenient. Once you've done it, on the Wonderland website, if you click here on Time, hover over it, you have an option to buy it on Trader Joe, and then if you click on it, that will take you to traderjoexyz.com, which is a decentralized exchange on Avalanche network, and then you can simply just trade your AVAX for Time on the exchange here. So let's have a closer look at what Wonderland actually is. And how does it work? And is it a Ponzi? And how likely it is that you will make your money or lose your money. Well, first and foremost, please make sure that you do your own research. Please don't take this as a financial advice. This is a very high risk project, at least in my opinion. And you definitely should check if this is something you're comfortable with, and essentially is your risk tolerance high enough for a project like this. And even then, please be careful with the amounts you are investing. There are some other videos on YouTube where people say that they made like 4 figures in 1 week on Wonderland, or someone made 28,000 in I think less than a month. Well, that's all well and good, but this is for investments of, I don't know, 40, 50,000 and so on. And clearly not everyone is comfortable with putting that sort of money in a project like this. I strongly recommend that you check out the documents link and all the information you have here. Go through all the tabs and read about it. There's a lot of info there. I think it's really good. It really helps you to understand it's really helpful in understanding what this project is all about and how does it work and what actually can you expect from it. But for now, well, let's have a look at the options. Okay, so what we have here is the dashboard for the Wonderland project. And probably 2 figures that are most interesting for most people is the price of the token and the APY. So current price is 4,300 or just under, which is actually pretty good entry point, I think. And the current APY is around 83,000. So you can then go to the calculator. And I think this is really useful because this can essentially, you can play with numbers here and you can see roughly what can you expect to happen with your investment. So let's say if you were to invest something like approximately $1,000, right? So at the moment at 0.235 of time token. MEMO or memories is the equivalent of time, but it's the token that you get through staking. So you stake, let's say $1,000 at the current price. If the APY remains fixed, and if the price of the token remains fixed, which is a big if, you can here play with the slider and see how much money you will make over what period of time. So actually after 1 day, you would make roughly, well, just under $20. The potential return, that's your initial investment plus whatever rewards you will receive. This is not the profit, so bear that in mind. So yeah, roughly $20 in 1 day. But then if you take it to roughly 38 days, you can see that you could double your money, more or less. And the interesting thing happens after that, because as you keep going up, this number will start increasing very rapidly. Essentially what is happening is this APY is a compound interest of approximately 2% per day. So your returns on the first few days or weeks may not be particularly impressive in terms of percentages. But then if you whack it all the way up to 1 year, you can see that potentially you could make over $837,000. And they also have a converter here that you could potentially buy 3 Lambos for that amount, which is quite cool. So, well, $830,000 from $1,000 investment is pretty awesome. Is it likely to happen? No. But it doesn't mean that the project doesn't have some potential. Essentially, you cannot assume that the APY will remain constant, and you cannot assume that the price will remain constant, as we've seen in the last couple of months. However, what's quite interesting is that because of the compounding interest, if you keep your tokens for long enough period of time, even if the price drops drastically, you can still potentially get your investment back just simply by holding your investment for a long enough period of time. And if you play with the price in the future, so let's say you can see that the price can drop to something like $5.50 from 4,300, and you can still more or less get your initial investment back. Of course, assuming that APY will remain fixed. Now, over the last few weeks, we've seen that APY to go up and down quite a bit. It went down to about 65,000%, which is still insane. It's been hovering around 70-75 for a while. So it's not like suddenly dropped by, I don't know, by 10-folds or 100-folds or something like that. It was still in tens of thousands of percents, but it can vary quite a bit. So of course, all those numbers here will vary quite a lot as well. But it's quite interesting to see how much the price could potentially drop and you could still make your initial investment back in theory. And that's the main argument behind this project, that essentially the price long-term becomes irrelevant, because you'll be getting so many tokens by staking that yeah, the price eventually doesn't matter. You can still make your investment back and make some profits. So how this project works? Is it a Ponzi scheme? Well, actually the founder of the project admitted that yeah, it is kind of a Ponzi scheme. Essentially the project only works as long as there is new money coming in and people are staking. If everyone suddenly wants to take out their money, the project will collapse. Which may be a bit scary, but then if you think about it, this is pretty much how all cryptocurrencies, all assets, and world monetary system works. If everyone starts selling whatever token, even Bitcoin, the price starts going down, right? If everyone suddenly wanted to go to the bank and withdraw all their money, the banks would actually run out of money because the parity with gold has been removed a long time ago. So the money is not actually backed by anything. It's just this thing. So of course here, because the market cap is much lower, there are far fewer players in the game. It's much more likely to happen than on a scale of, let's say, a whole country, or I don't know, something like Bitcoin, which has much higher market cap and many more people are invested in it. So essentially, you can expect to make gains on this project as long as you buy in at a reasonably good price and then hold your stake for long enough. And I think it's interesting to look into this project now because the price actually dipped quite a lot recently. Like I just showed you, it was around $10,000 only a few weeks ago. Now it's trading around between $4,000 and $5,000 in the last few days. So you can actually get in at a, I would say, reasonably sensible price. Of course, there is still large risk attached to it, but certainly far lower than if you were buying at 8,000 or 10,000. So if the project only works as long as people don't start cashing out, well, what's the guarantee that they won't do it? Well, that's to do with human psychology and essentially why we all invest in crypto. It's largely to make profits. Yeah, sure, there's technology and everything else, but the main reason probably for vast majority of people in crypto is to make money. And I will show you here a couple of examples of what happens in case of project like this. So let's say you invested $1,000 and day zero, well, put $1,000 in, profit is zero. After approximately 40 days, you can double your money. So you want to be sensible and you take your initial investment out. So you take out $1,000 and you're back to $1,000 which you invested. Sorry, you still have $1,000 in the game, but you de-risked your position, you have your $1,000 on the side. You could leave that $1,000 for an unspecified period of time, or you could decide that actually you want to be sensible and every 40 days, because your money roughly doubles every 40 days, you want to take that $1,000 back out. So essentially you want to secure your profits. So you leave $1,000 in the game and each 40 days you take your $1,000 profit out. And you keep doing this. I simplified the numbers here a little bit so it's a bit easier to visualize. But essentially at the end of the year, you have $9,000 profit plus your initial $1,000 investment. But what if you leave the initial $1,000 and just let it ride? Well, we've played with the slider, so you sort of get an idea where it goes to, but you can see that, of course, after 40 days you have $1,000 profit. After 80 days you have $4,000, so $3,000 profit. The difference is not huge, but then it all keeps doubling every 40 days. And because that amount is getting bigger and bigger, of course your returns are skyrocketing. And in this simplified example, you get to just over $500,000 in 1 year. So essentially that's the incentive. By keeping your money in, you can potentially make huge life-changing amount of money, or if the price of the project goes down, or if the APYs go down or whatever, well, you're still making so much by staking it that you can still hope to get your initial investment out and then take some profit out. So essentially it's all a bit of a game. Well, how many people will stake and for how long, and at which point they will decide that, you know what, it's not worth risking anymore, I'm taking my money out, I'm cashing out. And of course, the more people start doing it, well, the price will go down and the whole project is more likely to collapse. Ironically, if the price starts going down, more people are likely to get into it because APY will go up and essentially the benefits of being in the projects are higher. So personally, I'm really interested to see what will happen with this project, how it will all play out. I put my investment in yesterday, so I'm not just talking about it, I am actually invested in it as well. My plan at this point in time is to take my initial investment out as soon as I double the money. So that should roughly happen in about 40 days or so. And I will certainly be making another video then and see how it went. And then probably the rest, so the profit, I will just leave it and keep it for longer. My plan may change depending on what the market will do, depending on what will happen with the project, but at least at this point in time, that's my objective. Double the money, the risk by taking out the initial investment, and leave the rest until I essentially want to cash out, until I'm happy with my gains. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'll be making another video later this week when I will actually go step by step through the process of buying time, staking it, and I will explain all the details. And yeah, I'm quite excited to see what will happen. So just as an additional bit of info, you can actually see other similar projects on CoinGecko if you filter them by rebase tokens. These are similar projects, and you can see that Wonderland here is in a second spot, but you may want to check out some other projects and see what they are about and whether you are interested in potentially investing in some of them. So I hope you found this video useful. Like I said earlier, it is a very high risk project. If you do decide to invest in it, please make sure that you are comfortable with that, essentially you're investing an amount that you're comfortable with potentially losing. I mean, of course, no one wants to lose money, but you have to be prepared for it with projects like this. So yeah, I hope you found this video interesting. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.